Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into these sources you gave me on a question that's probably on your mind a lot. No, it's on mine a lot.
Yeah.
How are musicians actually making money in 2025?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some interesting expert opinions here from people like Chief Distro, Tech Tycoon.
hmm
There's this survival guide specifically for musicians in 2025,
Right.
and a really interesting breakdown of income strategies.
Yeah.
That, I gotta say, it had me rethinking some things after reading this. Are you ready to kind of rethink how the music industry works?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
It's definitely not the same landscape it was even a few years ago.
It's not even close. Yeah.
So the first thing that really jumped out at me from the research was the section on streaming.
Mm.
We always hear that's where the money's at.
Right.
But from what I'm reading here, maybe that's not quite the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as straightforward as you might think.
Yeah.
You see all those articles about artists with millions of streams and they can't pay their rent?
Right, right.
It's because streaming is really just the first step. It's not the final destination.
Okay, so it's not about racking up the streams and then just calling it a day.
Well, for a select few, yeah. I mean, maybe. Right.
Right.
But for most musicians, streaming is more like building a foundation.
Okay.
Think of it like your online business card.
Okay.
That's how you introduce yourself to the world. The real money comes from leveraging that exposure to drive other income streams.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. So let's say I'm a musician and I just released my latest track. What's the first thing I should really be focusing on in terms of streaming?
Maximizing your reach.
Okay.
So you want to be on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music,
The whole shebang.
the whole shebang. And it's not enough to just upload your music and hope for the best.
Right.
You need to optimize your profiles, use relevant keywords so people can find you, craft an engaging bio that tells your story, create really eye-catching headers that visually represent your music.
Okay, so that's a lot more than just hitting upload.
It is. But
Mhm.
remember, these platforms are incredibly competitive.
Right.
You're essentially running a business now.
Okay.
And your artist profile, that's your storefront.
Got it. Got it.
It's the first impression you make on potential fans and industry professionals.
So it's all about standing out from the crowd in a way. But let's be honest, getting on those big editorial playlists that feels like winning the lottery, how important are those really?
They're important. Don't get discouraged if you don't land on one right away. Think of playlists as the new radio.
Okay.
It's how people discover new music, target playlists that align with your genre and style, reach out to playlist curators, even collaborate with other artists to get featured on their playlists.
It's all about networking and building relationships.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the amazing tools at your disposal. Remember we talked about Spotify for Artists?
Yeah. Huh?
That platform is gold. It gives you these detailed insights into your listeners, where they are, what they like, their demographics. It's like having a personal marketing team that tells you exactly who's listening to your music and what they respond to.
Okay, so you've got to be on all the platforms, make your profiles awesome, work those playlists, use the data to your advantage.
Mhm.
That's making me tired just thinking about it.
It does take effort,
Uh-huh.
but it pays off. But remember, streaming is just the starting point.
Right.
It's about using that exposure to connect with fans and drive them toward other, more profitable income streams.
Which brings us to our next point, concerts. Tell me the live show is still king in 2025.
The live show is absolutely still king.
Come on.
There's nothing quite like that raw energy and connection you get from a live performance.
Right.
It's an experience you just can't replicate through a screen.
Yeah, nothing beats that feeling of being in the crowd, everyone vibing to the same music.
Right.
The lights, the energy.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
And for musicians, it's not just about artistic fulfillment. It's a crucial source of income.
Of course, yeah. But we're not just talking about these huge arena shows, right?
No, not at all. In fact, one of your sources highlights the increasing popularity of house concerts and more intimate events.
Oh, wow.
There's a growing desire for those unique, up-close and personal experiences.
Interesting.
You can create a really special vibe in a small setting and potentially make more money than you would at a bigger venue.
That's a really interesting point. It's like taking it back to the roots of music.
Yes.
Like back when people gathered in living rooms and just shared their love of music.
Precisely. And because you have lower overhead, you can charge a premium for that intimate experience. Plus, you're building deeper connections with fans, which can lead to more dedicated support down the line.
So playing a house concert for 50 dedicated fans could actually be more profitable than playing a club gig for 200 people.
Yeah,
I never would have guessed that.
it's definitely a strategy worth considering. especially for those who thrive in those close-knit settings.
I'm already picturing it. The dim lighting, the hushed anticipation, the stories behind the songs.
Yeah,
That's an experience you just can't get from streaming.
exactly.
That's awesome.
And those unique experiences create loyal fans who will spread the word, buy your merch, and come back for more.
Okay, I'm sold on the power of the live show, big or small.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned merch.
Mm.
We've got this whole section in the research about how merch has become way more than just t-shirts these days.
It absolutely has.
Right.
Merch is a tangible way for fans to express their love for your music and support you directly. But it's not just about slapping your logo on a t-shirt anymore. It's about offering unique, high-quality items that fans will actually want to wear and use.
So what are some of the strategies that musicians are using to kind of level up their merch game in 2025?
One of your sources suggests using polls on social media to gauge interest in specific items,
Oh, that's cool.
asking your fans what they want. It's a fantastic way to make sure you're creating things they'll actually buy. It shows you're listening and you care about their preferences.
That's such a smart idea. It's like market research, but way more fun.
Yeah.
What else?
Limited edition items and bundles are huge right now.
Oh, really?
It's all about creating that sense of exclusivity and urgency. You could offer special bundles that include a physical album, a limited edition t-shirt, a signed poster, for example.
I see what you mean about creating an experience. It's not just buying a product, it's like being a part of something special. Where should musicians be selling their merch? Just online or?
You definitely want to have an online store, that's a given. But don't underestimate the power of selling merch at your live shows. Fans are already excited and engaged, making them way more likely to make a purchase. Plus, it's another opportunity to interact with your audience and build those personal connections.
Right, I've definitely bought a t-shirt or two at a show after having an amazing time. So we've talked about streaming, live shows, merch. It's starting to feel like a real business now.
It is a business. Being a successful musician in 2025 requires wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You're an artist, an entrepreneur, a marketer, a community builder, all rolled into one.
That's a lot to juggle.
Damn.
But I'm also seeing how all these pieces fit together and support each other.
Yeah.
Speaking of supporting, how about we dive into sync licensing after a quick break?
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sync licensing is a whole other world of possibilities, and it can be quite lucrative for musicians who know how to navigate it.
All right, we're back. And I am really curious to kind of dive into this whole world of sync licensing. We
Yeah.
touched on it briefly before the break,
Right.
but it seems like it could honestly be a whole episode on its own.
It definitely could. Sync licensing is basically placing your music in TV shows, movies, commercials, video games, you name it. And it can be a game changer for a musician's income.
Okay, so let's say I've got a track, and
Yeah.
I think it'd be perfect for like a car commercial or a video game soundtrack. Where do I even begin?
First things first, you need to make sure you got your music registered with a performing rights organization, or PRO.
Okay,
That's how you get paid when your music is used.
got it. PRO registration, check. What's next?
Building a diverse catalog of music is key. The more music you have, the more likely you are to find a fit for all sorts of different projects. You might have a song that's perfect for a dramatic scene in a film,
Right.
and another that would kill it in a lighthearted ad campaign.
Makes sense. Cast a wide net. So how do I actually get my music in front of the people who make those decisions?
Networking is crucial in this industry. You've got music supervisors, they're always on the hunt for the perfect track, and attending industry events can be a great way to connect with them.
I can definitely see how that face-to-face interaction could give you an edge.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about building relationships, right?
You got it. And another route you could consider is partnering with a licensing agency. They have established relationships with music supervisors and can help get your music heard by the right people.
Okay, that sounds like it could take a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
So let's say a music supervisor loves one of my tracks and they want to use it in a TV show. What happens next?
Well, there are usually upfront payments for using your music, and then you also earn ongoing royalties every time your song airs.
So even if it's just a 30-second clip in the background, I'm still getting paid.
That's right. And depending on the project and how your music is used, those royalties can really add up over time. Imagine your song playing during a pivotal scene in a hit Netflix show.
Right.
That's a lot of exposure and a nice stream of passive income.
Okay, you've officially blown my mind with sync licensing. It seems like a no-brainer for musicians to at least explore.
It's definitely a powerful tool in the musician's arsenal, and it's only getting bigger as more and more content is created every day.
Right, right.
But for now, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and circle back to building that loyal fan base,
Yeah.
which is something you were really interested in from the start.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked about house concerts.
Uh-huh.
What about these modern-day fan clubs you were reading about?
Yes, I was fascinated by that idea. It sounds like such a cool way to connect with fans on a deeper level
Uh-huh.
and offer something truly special.
It is. Platforms like Patreon and Bandcamp have made it incredibly easy for musicians to create these membership and subscription services.
Right.
They're like VIP clubs for your most dedicated fans.
Okay, so how does it work? Do fans pay like a monthly fee to be part of this exclusive club?
Exactly. You can set up different tiers of membership, each with its own perks and rewards. For example, a basic tier might include early access to new music and exclusive behind-the-scenes content,
Okay.
while the premium tier might offer things like live Q&A sessions, handwritten lyrics, or even a chance to collaborate on a song.
That's really smart. It gives fans a way to choose their level of involvement and support
Yeah,
based on their budget and how much they want to engage.
exactly. And what's great for musicians is that it creates a predictable and recurring revenue stream. You know you've got a certain number of fans who are committed to supporting you each month, which allows you to plan ahead and invest more in your music.
It's like having a built-in support system. So, besides the financial benefits, what are some other advantages of running a fan membership program?
It fosters a real sense of community. It's like a private club where fans can connect with each other, share their love of your music, and feel like they're a part of something special. And for you as a musician, it's an invaluable way to get feedback on your work, test out new ideas, and build those lasting relationships with your most loyal supporters.
It sounds like a win-win for both the artist and the fan. Speaking of win-win situations, let's talk about brand partnerships. I know a lot of musicians are hesitant to go down that road.
I understand the hesitation.
Yeah.
Done wrong, brand partnerships can feel forced and inauthentic.
Right, and nobody wants to feel like their favorite artist is just selling out. So how do you navigate those partnerships in a way that feels genuine and beneficial for both parties?
It all starts with having a clear understanding of your own brand, your values, and your target audience. Who are you as an artist? What do you stand for? What kind of brands align with your message and resonate with your fans?
So it's about being selective and choosing partners that make sense for your brand.
Exactly. It's not just about taking any deal that comes your way. It's about finding brands that share your values and that you genuinely believe in. If you're excited about the partnership, your fans will be too.
It sounds like it goes back to building relationships and finding those genuine connections. So what are some examples of successful brand partnerships? I know you had a really interesting case study in the research.
Yes, so this one was fascinating. There was a folk musician with a strong environmental message who partnered with a sustainable clothing company to create a limited edition line of merchandise.
Cool.
The proceeds from the sales went to support an environmental charity.
That's a great example.
Right.
It's authentic, it aligns with the artist's values, and it benefits a good cause.
Exactly. And it generated a ton of positive buzz for both the artist and the brand. It showed they were walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Streaming, live shows, merch, sync licensing, fan memberships, and brand partnerships. It's a lot to take in.
It is. But the key takeaway is that the music industry in 2025 is all about diversification.
Okay.
It's not enough to rely on just one income stream anymore.
Right.
You need to build a portfolio of strategies that work together to support your music and your life.
It's about being an entrepreneur as much as it is being an artist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And being willing to adapt, learn, and try new things. The only constant in this industry is change.
I think that's a great note to end on. But before we do, I want to touch on one last thing that really resonated with me from your research.
Okay.
It was about the importance of building a genuine connection with your audience. It seems like in a world of algorithms and digital noise, that human connection is more important than ever.
You hit the nail on the head. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers game. How many streams you have, how many followers, how much money. But at the end of the day, it's the people who connect with your music on a deeper level. They're the ones who will become your true fans
Right.
and support your journey.
It's about building a community around your music, I guess.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about inviting people into your world,
Yeah.
sharing your creative process, being vulnerable, and letting them see the person behind the music.
Yeah.
When you do that, you create a bond that goes beyond just listening to a song.
Right.
It becomes an experience, a shared journey.
Okay, so let's get practical for a second. We've talked about all these different income strategies: streaming, live shows, merch, sync licensing, fan memberships, brand partnerships. It's a lot. How does a musician figure out which strategies are right for them? It can feel a bit overwhelming.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
But one thing your survival guide really stressed was the importance of playing to your strengths.
Hmm.
Are you a natural performer? Someone who thrives on stage?
Hmm.
Then prioritize those live shows. Maybe even explore those house concerts. If you're more introspective and connect with fans on a deeper emotional level, maybe fan memberships are your sweet spot.
So it's about knowing yourself, knowing your music, and choosing the paths that feel most authentic. But I imagine it takes some experimentation too, right?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to try different things. See what resonates with your audience and what brings you joy. It's all about finding your own unique path in this ever-evolving landscape. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. The music industry is constantly changing, so be prepared to adapt, learn new skills, and stay curious.
Always be learning. I like that. So much great advice for musicians navigating this exciting but sometimes confusing world.
There are so many possibilities out there, and I think that's what makes this such an exciting time to be a musician. You have more control over your career than ever before. You can connect with fans directly, build your own brand, create your own opportunities.
It's empowering, really. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one piece of advice you would give to all the musicians out there listening?
Focus on building genuine connections
Okay.
with your fans, with your collaborators, with the industry. It's those connections that will sustain you, inspire you, and ultimately lead to a fulfilling and successful career in music.
Beautifully said. And to our listener out there who's been on this deep dive with us today, I hope you're feeling inspired and equipped to create your own path in the music industry.
We've explored so many strategies, from leveraging the power of streaming to building those vibrant communities through fan memberships. There's a whole world of possibilities out there, and the future of music is in your hands.
Remember, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the music, the connection, and the journey. Keep creating, keep connecting, and keep diving deep. We'll see you on the next deep dive.